Warning, oh warning, to the ungodly. You made a strategic error, and this error will be and is your downfall. For you have awakened the sleeping empath. You planted the empath. By beating us down, by pushing us down, by kicking us down, you didn't beat us down, you planted us, for we are seedlings and we are now awake. The most nutritious environment for us was to be pushed down deep into the soil. For just like a tree who needs to dig its roots deep into the earth, so do we. By hurting us, by destroying us, by ripping our hearts out, you actually planted us deep into the most nutritious area we could ever be. And I'm going to prove it. It's just like a tree that needs to dig its roots deep into the earth, so do we. Just like a tree, this is the reason why the tree thrives and grows and becomes so powerful. It literally becomes unmovable, completely grounded. It roots us into our energy, into nutrition, into health. It roots us into the electrical power of God. It's literally like plugging into God. This is why learning how to be emotionally grounded is so important. You literally ground that electrical wire and now your energy flows. You ground yourself into the power of God, literally. Personal coaching and small group classes are available for internal awareness classes and emotional grounding techniques. It's what caused the opening. It's what caused the awakening. And you're the ones who did it. For you made a tactical error, the biggest mistake you ever could have made, and you kept repeating it. And it was the very greatest thing, the most powerful thing that could have happened to us, the empaths. And you did it to yourselves. God didn't do it. We didn't do it. You did it. And this is the path that you chose. We warned you, we helped you, we tried to guide you, we did everything we could for thousands and thousands of years. Now it's too late. The wrath of God is almighty. And you have awakened the beast. What you thought was our weakness was our greatest strength. What you thought was your strength was your greatest weakness. When you saw us cry, you thought we were weak. That was your mistake. My tears are not my weakness. My tears open me up to my power. You opened our door. You opened the door to the power of God. The very same door that you've been rejecting your entire lives. Because back in the book of Genesis, you fell for the lie. You believed the serpent. He said, "Oh, surely God doesn't want you not to be intelligent." For you fell for the lie that your logical brain was your intelligent brain. That is the weakness. And that is the lie, the sin. Closing off from your emotional brain is sin. Because this is what it means to close off from God. You listened to the serpent and you fell for the lie. You went into the tree of knowledge, which is your logical left brain, and you rejected, denied, and slammed the door shut to your emotional, creative, spiritual right brain, the open door to the power of God. The right brain is the door that opens to God, to the Garden of Eden. So while you were backstabbing us, gaslighting us, turning people against us, getting groups to turn against us, ripping our hearts out, ripping our souls out, each and every time you did that, you were literally opening our door to God. The emotional door to the right brain, the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. You were strengthening our connection to God. And you continued to weaken yours. What the serpent told you was weak was actually your power. What the serpent told you was your intelligence was your weakness. You lose. It is done. My tears are not my weakness. My tears are the opening of me to my absolute power in God. It's a warning that missile launch is imminent. Run, run, save yourselves and run, for we are here and we are awakened. But there's nowhere to run to. That was always your fatal flaw. You refuse to recognize the obvious or see the truth of your situation. To the empaths, they tricked you. They tricked you. They tricked you. They had to take away your power. These are the serpents in the Garden of Eden. In your Garden of Eden. They separated you and divided you from God, and then they infiltrated you. Woe to those who bring tears to an empath, the child of God, for you are about to witness the absolute wrath of God Almighty upon your flimsy, weak crown of lies, falsities, and fake masks. We see you, we know you, we can feel you, and here it comes. For God has sent his watchers of the earth. They are here, they've been watching you the whole time. The problem is you didn't know who they were. For they are us. For the very ones who you invited into your homes, into your life to damage and to destroy, to mess with, we are the watchers. God watched you, heard you, and felt you through us. Whenever you hurt a child of God, you hurt God. Trust me, payback is coming. Honestly, in 1,000,000 years, in 10 million years, in 100 million years, what would make you believe that somehow God is just going to look the other way when you've been attacking his children for millenniums? We came here to help you, to heal you. Your intention was to destroy us. That's the difference. And this entire time you thought emotions were weakness, when emotions are the fuel to the Ferrari, the fuel to the Mustang, the fuel to the supercar, the fuel to the space rocket. Without the fuel, you have nothing. That's why you're empty inside. You have no power. The combustion, the power, comes from the fuel. The fuel is the emotions. Matthew 13:24 through 30. There is a difference. There is a difference between the wheat and the tare, between the empaths and the narcissist. The children of God and the followers of the serpent. It's glaringly obvious. Now let's read. So Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. This is the scene of Seth. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. That is the seed of Cain, the one who killed Abel. Seth is the good seed, Cain is the evil. Since Abel's dead, the only other good seed is Seth. So this literally means birth. This means sperm. The seed of Seth, the seed of Cain. The seed of Seth are the good ones. They are loving, they are kind, they are intelligent, they are wholesome people. The seed of Cain is not. They are evil, they are toxic, they are liars, they are cheaters. They're full of rage and jealousy, and they love to hurt and attack and even kill people, literally. These are the narcissists on the planet. They do the same thing their father, the serpent, does. They lie, they manipulate, they cheat, they hurt. They do everything that the serpent does. They're full of jealousy and rage, etc. They'll get mad at you for absolutely no reason. You could buy them a birthday gift on their birthday and give it to them. In their mind, they're thinking, what are they doing? What are they trying to get out of me? They think you're manipulating them because that's the way they think. There's a glaring difference. They harm you, they attack you, they even try to kill you. And what is the first thing that you did until you found my channel? You wanted to forgive them. You wanted to love them. You wanted to sit down and talk with them. You wanted to nurture them. You wanted to heal them. Until you finally realize they're never going to change, you have to protect yourself and heal those who have been damaged by the narcissist, by the seed of Cain, by the serpent. Okay, let's go on. So then it goes on to say, when the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from? The seed of Cain. An enemy did this. Oh, and by the way, narcissists will purposely find an empath to marry, and or then what happens is either one empath, usually one, and then multiple seeds of narcissists, so other children become narcissists. That's how they sow their seeds into your field. So he says, where then did the weeds come from? An enemy did this. He replied. The servants asked him, do you want us to go and pull them up? No, he answered, because while you are pulling the weeds, you may root up the wheat with them. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And at that time I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn. See, Cain did intermix his seed with the seed of Seth by marrying an empath, by having children, and one would be an empath, the other ones would not. So there's this intermixing, and then Cain got into the head of the empath and raised him wrong, and got into a relationship and marriage and manipulated and bullshitted them. So what had to happen was there was a mixing. So there had to be a way to separate them, to have the ability for God to be able to identify you versus them. This is the great separation. It was awfully painful. It was insanely painful. Okay, I'm going to read this off of a website. It's a biblical evangelical website. So it says, note, the owner's servants clearly knew weeds and tares were growing in the wheat field. In other words, they had the ability to and could see and distinguish the Bible wheat and tares from each other, or the children of the devil from the children of God. Narcissist versus empaths. Narcissist versus the children of God. Now, I added that last piece. To argue the wheat and tares could not be distinguished is clearly refuted in verse 27. Sir, didn't you sow the good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from? Okay, I've already explained where they came from. So now let me read a little bit more. It says, They weren't allowed to uproot the weeds or tares, not because they couldn't identify them, but for another reason. We can assume another possibility, such as the wheat and tares' roots might be interwoven, and therefore to uproot some weeds which could be identified would also uproot some wheat. Hence the wheat and tare grew together. So this is where the narcissist gets into your mind, and they basically condition you and train you so you become what's called narcissistic. That does not mean that you're a narcissist. So what ended up happening, to defend ourselves, we would fight back with the same tools, and thus we started taking on their habits. That does not mean you are a narcissist or the seed of Cain or the devil's child. So when you got so hurt and so damaged that you realized you had to do something, that they were never ever going to change, no matter how much you forgave them, no matter how much you allowed them to come back into your life, no matter how much you loved them, nurtured them, tried to heal them, tried to explain, talk to them, you realized you had to draw a line. And thus you began your first boundary. And you started to awaken. And thus you went into isolation, because now your entire system, your brain, your emotional system, your spiritual system, had to reevaluate everything that you heard, learned, or taught versus what you knew from your heart and your soul, thus God. I made a video about this not too long ago. It's called Your Isolation Saved You and Healed You. Okay? So it was a very, very good thing. It seemed very lonely. It was very empty. It lasted for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years or longer. But you began to reevaluate and reorganize everything. You separated the truth from the lie, and it started to become very, very obvious. And now you're starting to understand why God didn't tell them to rip up the tares from the wheat, because it was interwoven into the roots. In other words, the lies got mixed in with the truth inside of your brain, inside of your system. And thus you had to separate the two. And this is what I call the Great Wall of China. It was an absolute separation between who you are and who they are. So if you are in that dark space right now, that isolation where there's nothing but darkness, where you are put up complete boundaries between anyone and everyone, you are in good company. And I swear this upon you. You will come through this, and you are about to step into the fullness of your power. You are literally on the verge. You're at the very end of the tunnel of darkness. You are about to step into the light. Boundaries good. Boundaries power. You are the living Bible. The Bible is literally coming to life in you and through you. Now that you're going through it and that you are living the actual living of the Bible, it's starting to make sense now, isn't it? For those who have not gone through this or are not in the middle of it, they literally think the Bible is just a myth, a story. Even Christians who read it, and they do have faith, they do. They don't, you can't have this understanding until you go through it. This is the knowing. The way that God separates you, or the way it was set up, is that eventually you will walk away from everything. You will walk away from all the lies, regardless of whether it's a church, a pastor, a minister, a best friend, a mother, a father, a sister, a daughter, a son. You will not take it anymore, and you finally walked away. You were the sheep that Jesus left the flock for. You were the one that Jesus found because he identified you, because you were finally pushed out so far and so hard that you willingly walked away from it because you couldn't take it anymore. And there, God found you because you were outside of the group walking away. You were separated, and that's a good thing, a very good thing. It's what the entire Bible is all about. God has finally pulled you into his barn, which means into his home, into his heart. Now God sees you. It's really simple. The reason why you kept forgiving people who were harming you, loving them, nurturing them, is because you were coming from your heart. Not because some rule book, some man-made rule said you're supposed to do this. No, it's not because of rule, it's because you cared from your heart. That's how God can see you. For those who are ungodly, they truly believe it's about rules, because remember, the left brain's about rules, structure, and organization. That's how the left brain processes. They truly believe, well, if I follow the rules, if I'm a good person, if I'm moral, then I get to go to heaven. No, you don't. You can't earn it. You can't buy it. You can't pay God off. You help people because you want to, not because you're supposed to. There is a difference, a distinct difference. And that's why you shine. You literally are colorful to God. You literally shine. You have the light. You have the color. You stand out. Haven't you look back at the narcissists? What do they look like? They're dark. They're gray. There's no color. There's no light in their eyes. Their face, it's almost like it's kind of dark. It's kind of gray. You don't think God can see the difference between a vibrant person who has an open heart versus someone who's closed down? God sees the color. God sees the light in you. If you're in what I call the Great Wall of China in isolation and you're separating yourself, trust me, this is a good thing. It's literally like when Jesus went after the sheep that left the herd. God can now see you. This is a good thing, and believe it or not, but God is pouring His blessings and His love and His nurturing, healing light and energy unto you. Now is the time for self-love. Go with these feelings. Love these hurt emotions. Love this shame, this guilt that you feel inside you. These are little parts of you that now need you, especially now, to love yourself. Love them. Be with your emotions. Be with your feelings and say it's okay. Tell them you love them. This is self-love, and this is going to cause the healing for you to step out of the darkness into the light. So Jesus says, the weeds are the sons of the evil one, the narcissist. The enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age. Keyword there, age, not the end of time, not the end of the world. People, it's the end of time or an end of an age. And the harvesters are angels. As the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, which is the narcissist, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out His angels, and they will weed out of His kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear. Alright, so here's the part I really love. So it says, then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Now, here's the deal. This is actually happening to some of us. We are beginning to shine. People have walked up to me and said, it's almost like there's a glow about you. Here's another thing. People are starting to stare at you, aren't they? At first, it feels very uncomfortable. And dude, actually, to be honest with you, in the beginning, I actually got mad at people. Like, why are you staring at me? And I would say that, and they're like, oh, I don't know, I can't help it. Then there's the people who can't look at you. It's because your light reveals them. It's too bright, and they look away. Yeah, your light is revealing truth. For those people who get mad, angry, yell at you, say something bad about you, they're trying to turn your light off because you're revealing something about them that they don't want people to see, that they themselves don't want to see in themselves. The people who are staring at you kind of curious, kind of fascinated, it's because you're showing them what's inside them that they've been hiding, their light. It's reminding them kind of like on an unconscious level, like, I've even had people walk up to me, man, there's something about you. I don't know what it is. Or, you look familiar. And what I want to say, and sometimes I do say, you're seeing who you used to be. You're remembering who you truly are. You are the tree of life, both left and right. You are deeply rooted into the earth, and this is what connects you to God. Now let me read the very, very end, okay? It says, "He who has ears, let him hear. God has spoken, and we his children hear." Amen, everybody. For one-on-one coaching, small groups, come learn how to connect with the power of God that's always been inside you. It's about internal awareness, where Jesus says look within, and emotional grounding, because looking within connects you and grounds you emotionally. Hey, God bless all of you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider clicking subscribe, as it does make a difference in getting more traffic to our channel. Another thing you can do is click the like button. Believe it or not, but that actually is more powerful than clicking subscribe. So if you come across our videos and you really do like them, please click the like button. It makes a huge difference when it comes to YouTube sending more traffic. That's it. Feel free to make a comment, and if you want, go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box beneath the video. That's it. I'm going to turn the music up a little bit here, and you can enjoy the music. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.